Hello and welcome to another episode of Mind Map. Today's topic of discussion is energy flow and food web. First of all, we will discuss about trophic levels, energy flow, food chains, food web, biotic interactions, ecological pyramids, and pollutants in trophic levels. First of all, let's discuss about trophic levels. Trophic levels are steps in a nutritive series or food chain of an ecosystem. The organisms of a chain are classified into these levels on the basis of their feeding behavior. The first and lowest level contains the producers, green plants. The plants or their products are consumed by the second level organisms, the herbivores or plant eaters. At the third level, primary carnivores or meat eaters eat the herbivores. And at the fourth level, secondary carnivores eat the primary carnivores. Now let's discuss about energy flow. Energy is the basic force responsible for all metabolic activities. The flow of energy from producer to top consumers is called energy flow, which is unidirectional. Trophic levels provide a structure for understanding food chains and how energy flows through an ecosystem. At the base of the pyramid are the producers who use photosynthesis or chemosynthesis to make their own food. Herbivores or primary consumers make up the second level. Secondary and tertiary consumers, omnivores and carnivores, follow in the subsequent sections of the pyramid. At each step up the food chain, only 10% of the energy is passed on to the next level, while about 90% of the energy is lost as heat. As a result, there are usually 4 or 5 trophic levels and seldom more than 6, as beyond that, very little energy is left to support life. Now moving on to food chains. The food chain describes who eats whom in the wild. Every living thing, from one-celled algae to giant blue whales, needs food to survive. Each food chain is a possible pathway that energy and nutrients can follow through the ecosystem. For example, grass produces its own food from sunlight. A rabbit eats the grass, a fox eats the rabbit, and when the fox dies, bacteria break down its body, returning it to the soil where it provides nutrients for plants. Two types of food chains are grazing food chain. In the food chain where consumers start utilizing plants or plant parts is called grazing food chain. Example, grass eaten by grasshopper, grasshopper eaten by rats, rat eaten by snake, etc. And detritus food chain. It starts from dead organic matter of decaying animals and plant bodies consumed by the microorganisms. Detritus feeding organism called detrivores or decomposer. Example, litter eaten by earthworms, which is eaten by chicken, which is eaten by hawk, etc. Each of these living things can be a part of multiple food chains. Now let's discuss about food web. Food web is an important ecological concept. Basically, food web represents feeding relationships within a community. It also implies the transfer of food energy from its source in plants through herbivores to carnivores. Normally, food webs consist of a number of food chains meshed together. Food web offers an important tool for investigating the ecological interactions that define energy flows and predator-prey relationship. Most food webs are complex and involve many species with both strong and weak interactions among them. Example, the predators of a scorpion in a desert ecosystem might be a golden eagle or an owl or a roadrunner or a fox. Biotic interactions. Organisms living on the earth are interlinked to each other in one way or another. There are several classes of interactions. Symbiosis. The term symbiosis includes a broad range of species interactions but typically refers to 3 major types: mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. Mutualism. When both species get benefited, then it is called mutualism. Mutualism can be considered obligative or facultative. Species involved in obligate mutualism cannot survive without the relationship, while facultative mutualistic species can survive individually when separated but often not as well. Example, coral polyp and zooxanthellae. Commensalism. Commensalism is an interaction in which one individual benefits while the other is neither helped nor harmed. For example, orchids, examples of epiphytes found in tropical rainforest, grow on the branches of trees in order to access light, but the presence of the orchids does not affect the trees. Parasitism. Parasitism occurs when one individual, the parasite, benefits from another individual, the host, while harming the host in the process. Example, different species of ticks are common parasites on animals and humans. Amensalism. In this interaction, one species is harmed and the other is unaffected. Example, a large tree shades a small plant, retarding the growth of the small plant, while the small plant has no effect on the large tree. Predation. Predation requires one individual, the predator, to kill and eat another individual, the prey. Example, lion kills deer for food. And competition, when two or more species compete for the same resource. In this interaction, usually the weaker species get harmed. Now let's discuss about ecological pyramids. The steps of trophic levels expressed in a diagrammatic way are referred as ecological pyramids. The ecological pyramids are of three types. First is pyramid of numbers. This deals with the relationship between the numbers of primary producers and consumers of different levels. The pyramid of numbers may not always be upright and may even be completely inverted. Next is pyramid of biomass. In this approach, individuals in each trophic level are weighed instead of being counted. This gives us a pyramid of biomass, that is, the total dry weight of all organisms at each trophic level at a particular time. This pyramid can also be inverted. Pyramid of energy. An energy pyramid reflects the laws of thermodynamics with conversion of solar energy to chemical energy and heat energy at each trophic level. It shows the loss of energy during each transfer to another trophic level. Hence, the pyramid is always upward with a large energy base at the bottom. Now let's discuss about pollutants in trophic levels. Pollutants, especially non-degradable ones, move through the various trophic levels in an ecosystem. Non-degradable pollutants, which cannot be broken down by detrivores, not only move through the various trophic levels but also remain in that trophic level for a very long duration. Chlorinated hydrocarbons or organochlorides are the most damaging non-degradable pollutants that are long-lasting. Bioaccumulation. It is the gradual accumulation of pollutants, chemicals, chronic poisoning, or other substances in an organism. And biomagnification. It refers to progressive bioaccumulation, that is, increase in concentration at each trophic level with the passage of time. Now it's time for the practice questions. First of all, prelims question. With reference to food chains in ecosystems, consider the following statements. 1. A food chain illustrates the order in which a chain of organisms feed upon each other. 2. Food chains are found within the population of a species. 3. A food chain illustrates the numbers of each organism which are eaten by others. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 1 and 2 only, 1, 2 and 3, or none of the above? And now mains question. What do you understand by different ecological pyramids? Explain the role of apex predator in the food web. So that's all for today. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching.